Hey guys, I'm out in the shop tonight to do a tool review, and I'm pretty excited about this one because this is the WEN 21-inch scroll saw. And the reason I'm excited about this is that I think the value that you get for the price you pay for this saw is really outstanding. So let's get it out of the box, set it up, and take a look at it. Okay, I'm not big on unboxings here, so I've cut the box open. Basically just going to show you the inside of it. When you open it up, it comes with the user manual on top. We'll take a look at that a little later. And the package is lined with styrofoam. And when we take it out, you'll see it's a fairly substantial sheet of styrofoam. And the saw is assembled and ready to pull out of the box. So I think that is all we need to deal with for an unboxing. Let me get the legals out of the way here real quick. I did receive this saw from WEN for free. And my responsibility to them is simply to do an honest review of it, which is what I'm going to do. I'm not being paid for the review, and they haven't told me what to say, so all that stuff. I will include a link in the description of this video that will be my affiliate link to Amazon. So if you're interested in this saw and you want to support what I do, that would be the link I would ask you to use. Okay, let's move on. I've got the saw out of the box and up on my little workbench here. I do not have a stand for this saw right now, although I do recommend that you buy one. Almost all of these saws work better if they're on their own stand. It reduces the vibration. Okay, let's just for a second talk about some of the specs on this this saw. Let me get down here where you can see it a little better. There we go. 21-inch throat. What that means is from the back of the blade to the back of this section right here, you have 21 inches. Okay? The table, which is a metal table, is 25.5 inches deep. At its widest point, it is 16 inches wide. And in front of the blade, which is very important to some people, is about 8 3/4, no, almost 9 full inches right there. Close to 9 inches in front of the blade. The table tilts by releasing the front knob, turning the table to the angle that you want, and I believe it goes a full 45. Let's see. Yeah, it goes a full 45 in both directions. It does have some positive detents, and when I got it out of the box and checked the detents, they seem to be accurate. 0 degrees was zeroed out pretty well. The saw is heavy. This thing is over 50 pounds out of the box, so you may need some help getting it up on a stand. I tugged it up here onto the workbench, but at my age it was a little bit of a struggle. So I got it up here on the workbench. It's a little higher than I would normally use the saw at. I like them just a little bit lower than what this table sets. So again, another reason that the stand would come in handy. It does have an air blower, which is long enough that you can get the blower in front of the workpiece and blowing backwards, which is always better than having it behind it blowing the dust into your face. So that was real handy. Let's see what else we got here. All the primary controls are up front. You've got the on-off switch, the variable speed, and the tension right up here in the front. There is one adjustment that I'll show you in a little bit. This saw does, let me release the tension here, undo the blade. This saw does raise so you can get your workpieces in and out easier. This is something that you don't see on an entry-level saw. Generally this feature starts at the mid-level saws. This does have it. The one control that is in the back, if you notice when I raised this up, it locked into place, but to get it to come down, I got to reach back here and pull the lock and let it down. So if you leave it in that section, when you raise it up, you don't have to reach back there, but to get it to come back down, you do. So that is a nice feature. It does not come with a light, although I have attached a light here to it, just a little magnetic light. It comes assembled with a hold down foot, and if you're new to the scroll saw, I recommend you leave this on until you get more comfortable with the saw. But most full-time scrollers take these off, and I took it off to get it out of the way. Generally, when you're scrolling intricate fretwork, you're getting in here real close with your fingers, and that foot is just in the way. And it really, the scroll saw is such a safe tool that at most you're going to get a Band-Aid cut. You're not going to you're not going to have a serious injury unless you drop this thing on your foot. One feature that I have started using that I never used in the past, but because I'm now in a shop that requires me to have a little better dust collection, it does have a dust port on the back of the saw, and that's real handy if you like dust collection, which I have convinced myself to do. And let me explain that just for a second. The reason I didn't use dust collection is I just couldn't handle the noise. When I turn the dust collection on my table saw or my planer or any other tool, I'm only going to have that tool running for a few minutes, and then I turn it off. So the sound is not that big a deal. I'm wearing earmuffs. On a scroll saw, I may sit in front of it for 3 hours, 4 hours, and sit there and cut. So it becomes quite annoying. Well, again, because I'm now in a basement workshop with a furnace, I have to make sure I keep that furnace protected from dust as much as possible. So I have started using dust collection. This saw has kind of a unique feature in that it has these locking doors on each side that open up to allow you access to the blade in the bottom, so you can get to the blade holder real easy. I probably will just leave these down or take them off, but they are safety features, so I'll let you use your own judgment on that. It comes with, like I said, the tension knob up front, so you basically just push the blade in, tighten it down with the thumb screw, push your tension up, and you're ready to start cutting. Just that simple. Okay, I've got you up over my shoulder here so you can see a little better. Show you a couple more things, then we'll cut a quick project. One is, I mentioned that this upper arm raises, and I want to show you that knob. I'm going to release the tension, release the blade. As I raise it up, that knob back there pops into place and locks it in. Then to get the arm back down, you just simply reach back there, pull out, and let it release, and it's back down and ready to go again. Then we can just simply reattach our blade, set our tension, and we're ready to cut. Now, one thing that I just showed you there, that if you own any of the entry-level saws, you'll see one of the huge advantages of a mid-level saw and above, and that is how easy blade change is. I mean, really just as simple as loosening the tension, loosening the blade, you're ready to go. Then when you put the blade back in, tighten it, set the tension, you're ready for that next cut. So it really doesn't get any better than that. So bravo to WEN for that. They've done a good job with that feature. I got a small little project here, just my wife's name, only has 3 interior cuts, and I think we'll cut this project. I probably won't show you me cutting the whole thing because it's going to get boring pretty quick, but we'll do it just so you can see the ease of the way this thing cuts. One thing you may notice is I've already got the on switch in the on position, and that is because I'm controlling the saw with a foot switch. I always use a foot switch with all my scroll saws. To me, it's a must-have accessory. So if you buy this saw, you might want to consider a foot switch. The style of foot switch I recommend is a dead man, and a dead man means as you push on the switch and hold the switch down, it runs. As soon as you lift your foot off the switch, it stops running. And that is opposed to an on-off switch where you click it on and then click it off. I much prefer the dead man, and that's generally what comes with most scroll saws. So let's release our tension here, put our arm in the upper position, put the blade through our first interior cut, and again we have to reach back, let the tension down. That's probably a pretty good reach if you have shorter arms, so you may have to stand up to release that. Might come up with a solution that's a little easier than that, maybe a stick or something to help release that. But let's put the blade back in, set our tension back. I'm going to go to about there, get our air blower ready, and now we'll go ahead and cut this first interior cut. The speed is currently set on about 6 3/4. It goes all the way up here is full speed, down to the slowest speed it goes. Most scroll saws have a sweet spot where you have the highest speed you can cut at, but before the vibration starts to kick in. This saw, as I run it through its range of speeds, the vibration really doesn't pick up hardly at all until, even at max, there's very little difference between max and 7. So I would probably run it 6.5, 7 most of the time. I'm going to cut this quick, so pardon my errors. There's our first interior cut. Release our tension, release our blade, it locks up. Put the blade through the next interior cut. Reach back, loosen the arm and bring it down. Put the blade back in the chuck. Set our tension back, we're ready for our next interior cut. Second interior cut done. Raise the arm. Feed the blade. Release the arm. Set our tension. We're ready for the last interior cut. All three interior cuts done. We're ready to start on the exterior of the project. I'm going to stop this video here just for 1 second. I'm going to go get something that I can test that knob back there to see if I can make it an easier reach. I found that reach a little bit difficult for me, and I'm sure if my long arms can't reach back there, it's going to be maybe even more of a difficulty for some of you. And I may be overlooking something. I'll look through the manual and see if there's something I'm missing. But if I'm not, what I did just real quick is I went out and got a 3/4 inch dowel rod. It looks like it's about maybe 24 inches long. And I just simply cut a V in it and shaved it down there just a little bit so it looks like that. And now when that arm's up, if you do have trouble reaching it, you can just take and put that V right there on that, raise it out, and it goes right down. I didn't mean to hit the foot switch there. Let's do that again. Real easy. And then probably is a way to put a handle on that that would stick out. I'll work on that, but anyway, something to look at. So I'm going to go ahead and reattach the blade. We'll finish cutting this project. Again, I probably won't let you watch me cut it all the way through, but we'll do just a minute here, and then I'll turn off the video and we'll finish it up. There's our first project cut on the WEN Scroll Saw. Let me do a little bit of a quick closing of this review of the WEN LL2156 21-inch Scroll Saw. Why I was so anxious to get a hold of one of these and review it for you guys, and basically what I think about it. This saw basically comes down to value. If you want to get started in the scroll saw hobby and you have a little more money than an entry-level $100 to $200 scroll saw, and you want a saw that'll give you a little more ease of use, then this saw is hard to beat right now, because on Amazon this thing's selling for just slightly over $370. So you're getting a mid-level saw, and this saw easily qualifies as a mid-level saw. You're getting a mid-level saw for a considerable less money than the other mid-level saws on the market today. And from what I can tell, and again, I haven't used this saw but just for a day, but I've used I think I have used every high-end and all of the mid-level scroll saws on the market. Most of them I actually own, and the ones I don't own I've used at trade shows and stuff. So I think I'm qualified to know when a saw stands up to the reputation of either being a mid-level or a high-end saw. Now, I haven't used all the entry-level saws because there's too many of them to count, but this saw outperforms any of those saws with ease. At $370, you're getting a lot of saw and a lot of capabilities for a reasonable amount of money, or at least reasonable compared to other saws on the market. Is this the best scroll saw on the market? No, it's not. You know, it's a mid-level scroll saw. It will not compete with some of the high-end saws that are designed and built to work basically 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Full-time cutters can use those saws. I would not recommend this saw for that type of work. But if you're a weekend scroller or an occasional scroller or even a pretty serious scroller, then I think this saw fits the bill pretty nicely. The fit and finish of it, from my taking it out of the box and putting it together, was good. I did see a couple small problems. The blade wasn't centered in the hole, which took me about 5 minutes to readjust by just loosening these screws and bolts on the table. I recentered that. I did have one screw that was not tightened down back here on the back pivot point. Again, small problem to fix. But other than that, the fit and finish seems really, really good. Everything about this saw stands out for a mid-level saw. Let me talk about the brand here just for 1 minute. WEN is the brand of this tool. They are located in Illinois. The machine is manufactured in China. I have become a fan of WEN tools simply because they put out what I believe are high quality tools, or higher quality entry-level tools than most other companies. I own several WEN products, and to be honest with you, I've been happy with all of them. So I'm a fan of WEN. Another reason I wanted to do this review. I've used their tools and I've talked to the people at WEN. They seem to stand behind their product and all the things you'd expect out of a company. So if you're unfamiliar with the brand, just let me say that from my personal experience, the brand has a positive reputation. So that is my review of the WEN LL2156 Scroll Saw. Again, to me, this stands out as an excellent value for a scroll saw if you're looking for a mid-level scroll saw. I'm Steve Good. Thanks for being here with me at the Scroll Saw Workshop, and we will talk to you next time.